So, kia ora, welcome to Whangarua College. Thank you so much for coming to join us tonight. It's always really, really awesome if we've got one member of the whānau here before we go on a camp, just so that you get all of the details face to face. And yeah, it's good to be able to ask questions for those who want to ask questions as well. So, we've got our camps going ahead. You can see there's two lots, so 6 classes first and 5 classes second. So they've got 3 days, 2 nights, and you can see the classes which are going when. We've also got Gail Collier, one of the deputy principals, she's just over there. She'll be joining us for the whole week. I'm there the whole week. And Mr. McCracken and Mr. Moss will be joining us on Thursday for the day to see all of the learners there. So, hear me now on this, can you? Oh, maybe I have to lean forward a bit. So you can see that our camp aligns with all of the key competencies. So we do, it's really good for the learners, especially around managing self and participating and contributing and relating to other people. They get opportunities to build relationships on the camp that are maybe a bit different than they would be able to make within school, with their teachers and with their peers. So that's a really awesome opportunity. So the itinerary is pretty straightforward. Day 1 we meet at 7:30 on the morning of departure. It's really, really important that you have them here for that time. Okay, we need to get on the buses and get underway as fast as we can so we can get there, get them settled into their cabins, get all their gear stowed, ready to start the activities. We want to make the most of the time. So we'll basically get there, they'll have some morning tea, we'll get them to put all their gear in the cabins, we'll give them the kind of, general camp pep talk. I turn into a sergeant major for a little bit of time with a whistle, which I continually blow. And then we get into the activities, and they've got some really, really cool activities that we've lined up. Lots of activities that might push them outside of their comfort zone a little bit, which we like to do. We're not going to force anyone to do anything, but we do like to put it in front of them and encourage them along the way. After dinner, there'll be some camp games on one of the nights, and there'll be a campfire on another of the nights where we'll sing and maybe tell spooky stories and things like that. Bedtime's at 9:30, but we start getting ready for bed half an hour before that. Day 2, it's a full day of activities. And then day 3, they wake up, they pack up their gear, have breakfast, and then they have more activities until lunchtime when they get back on the bus and get back to school in time for sort of normal school finishing time, just about 3 o'clock, just before all of the buses arrive and things, ready for pick-up. So on the gear list, these are some things that I've just bullet pointed, just because they're some of the really, really vital things. So they need to remember to bring a fitted sheet, as well as their sleeping bag and pillow. The mattresses are they're pretty decent actually. They're in bunk beds, and the mattresses are, they're pretty thick mattresses, but they are plastic. So they're plastic coated, so they're not very nice to lie on if you don't have a fitted sheet. So a fitted sheet, just to give them some, comfort, and also be between them and the plastic. A mug, really, really important. We have lots of drinks available for them, but it's nice for them to have some hot chocolate last thing at night as well in a mug. And a tea towel so that they can participate with the washing up and play a part. On the first day, they'll need a really big packed lunch. They get super hungry. So if you can give them like morning tea and lunch, and please don't forget to send them with a named drink bottle. We will take some drink bottles with us, a few spares, just in case people forget. But if they've got their own, it's so much easier, and they can tell which one is theirs. And a container of home baking, which will be used for morning teas and for supper at night time and for afternoon teas. And if they can bring a blanket with them, if they want to bring a blanket. If they've got hoodies and they want to bring them and they can fit them in their bags, by all means, send them, because it's really nice for them to have that snuggly kind of, to walk around in the evening and things if they want to. The gear list. You should have seen the gear list by now. It's pretty extensive, and one of the main reasons why we like to see people face to face is because of the gear list. So last year was the first time we've been to Camp Adair, and it does get quite chilly at this time of year, particularly first thing in the morning and last thing at night. And there are lots of activities where they will get wet and muddy. There are nice warm showers where they can have a shower afterwards in between activities, but they will get wet. And last year we had quite a few kids who were ill-equipped. They just didn't have enough warm clothing. We'd taken some spares, but if you can make sure that you really do send them with enough changes of clothes, that's really important. Medication. So all of the medication, if your child has any form of medication, even antihistamine tablets or something like that, or inhalers, just that regular kind of medication as well as any other kinds, please put it in a named bag, and it needs to, a clear bag, and it needs to have the name of the child clearly marked on the bag. It needs to have the name of the medication, and it needs to have the dosage on there really clearly. All of those will be collected in on the morning that they leave by the teacher, and those meds will be kept by the teacher and will be administered by the teacher, and it will be recorded in a book and signed off. Okay? So the children can't keep any form of medication. We'll keep that for them. Okay? There's some of the activities. I think they won't do every single one of those. For instance, the trapeze and things like the leap of faith are kind of interchangeable. So one group might do one of those and the other group might do the other of those. But they're very, very similar. So both involve climbing up, to quite a height in a harness and jumping off the top. Okay, so it's very controlled and very safe. The camp has all of their qualified instructors, and they are just awesome, very, very safety conscious, and they're really, really encouraging as well. So, and you'll notice that it says that after the afternoon activities, between 4 and 6, they get some time to have showers and have some downtime as well. The cabin groups, and the learners are placed in a cabin which they sleep 12. I'm right, Anna Julia? 12 learners in each cabin. They're quite big cabins. And like I said, bedtime's 9 o'clock. We kind of patrol. All of the teachers and all the parents who go patrol until all is quiet. I think on the nights last time we had them basically asleep by 10. Yeah, it was a new world record. They are absolutely shattered. But the first night is always a little bit, But the second night, that's it. They're like pumped. So, okay, that was very quick. Okay, but I just want to take any questions now. If you have any questions, yeah, Jasmine. There's not a set time, but there are lots of people to get through the showers. So it will be a quick in, wash your hair, get soaped up, get out again. Okay? Yeah. This is Jarvis. Okay, so there's 12 activities, I think. Is that right? I think about 10 to 12 activities overall. Okay? Yeah.
I think we're talking about medication. Well, my learner doesn't need medication on a regular basis, but like if he were to fall, it could be quite clumsy.
Yeah.
And he needs pain medication. Should I send that with him, or would you administer that?
We can carry paracetamol and ibuprofen, and we have all of the notes for every learner, so it has on their notes whether they're allowed to have paracetamol and how much, or ibuprofen and how much, so we can administer that. If you've already given permission to the school,
then we've got access to all of those notes. So you don't need to send the regular pain medication with them. But if it's anything outside of that we don't normally carry, then yeah. 7 activities. Way less than I thought actually. But there's some activities interspersed in that are kind of, camp-related activities. So yeah.
On the gear list, what is on there will be enough for them to carry them through for the whole camp?
Yeah, we actually
need to put extra on there.
We actually added extra on this time just to make sure that we've covered our bases with what was there. So, to be honest, it's probably a bit almost like too much, but not too much. Like if they've got wet on every or almost every activity, because if it rains in between, some of the activities might continue if it's drizzling a bit, and they might get wet, and then they might want to get changed again because they get a bit chilly. So, just need to yes. Good point. Thank you for reminding me that. So on the gear list, that is one important point. It says, I think, 2 large plastic bags. I've got 4 kids, and they've been on countless camps and scout camps and all sorts of things. I always get 2 of those. The big bin bags. I get 2 of those sacks, and I usually put like some masking tape or something on them, and I write their name in big letters and their class, so that they've got 2 of those bags, and I usually say one's for dry clothes, one's for wet clothes, and then put them all in. If you can name, and I know it's a chore because I've done it, like I said, countless times, but if you can name every item of clothing somewhere on it, even the shoes, it is such a help to them and to you guys. Last year, we had potentially running into thousands of dollars worth of unclaimed items after camp. And we put them all on the website, we put them on Facebook, and people didn't claim them. And it's such a shame, there'd be really good quality clothing that was left behind. So you can go through and just methodically name everything and get your child to tick it off, so that they're part of the process as well. Yeah? Yeah.
What's the policy with phones on the camp?
Okay. No phones. No phones, no devices. Okay. The whole idea is that we're going to get them away from that. Yeah, no smartwatches as well. And to be honest, watches, even watches in general, they're doing lots of activities where they could bang things, I think, especially if it's expensive. And so you probably don't want to take the risk of sending anything like that. But definitely no smartwatches, no phones, no devices of any kind. And please don't send any lollies. I know they will probably say, please lollies, we don't want any lollies. They've had previous problems in the cabins with ants when food is left in the cabins. So it's a no food in the cabins policy. And also we don't want them sugared up. No, it's never a good combination, tiredness and sugar. They actually get really, really well fed. There's too much food for them to eat anyway, so please don't send any lollies or anything in their bags that is food related. Yes, please can the baking be in a container that doesn't have to be returned? So just a nice big container. Yeah, with it, if it's gluten-free or if it's, if you send anything that, if you can just write it on with a Sharpie on the lid, that would be really amazing, because we do have some people who are gluten-free as well, so, yeah.
I just wonder, on the gear list, I didn't see swimwear, or...
That's because we're not going swimming.
No, but not even talking about slide.
Oh,
togs and 2 towels.
they can wear, yeah, there is togs, yeah, but a lot of the kids, and that's why I said we're not going swimming, a lot of the kids don't necessarily want to wear togs. A rash vest and a pair of shorts will do. And it actually gives them a bit more protection when they're sliding down the mudslide if they've got a pair of shorts on. So it's quite cool. And they might be standing up there a bit wet, so if they've got something extra on, it's always good. Yeah. Julia's mindful. She reminds me of all these things. And please no spray deodorant as well. We do want them to have deodorant. I can't emphasise that enough. We do want them to use deodorant, but no spray, so no links, and no aerosol deodorants, because they end up setting off fire alarms and things. And they spray it everywhere. Yeah, no hairspray, so no aerosols. Yeah. What sort of thing do you mean? No, thank you. Good question. But no, there isn't. We do have 1 or 2 learners who are allergic to nuts and things. And if there are some people who are allergic to nuts, if you can provide something for your child that obviously is, allergy friendly, that would be really awesome. But no, I mean, pretty much anything. Cookies, brownie. The teachers really like the brownie. So, yeah. Sorry?
Caramel shortbread.
Yeah, caramel shortbread. Any requests? I'm here all week. Yeah, we work there all week. So,
Can I just say the importance about thermals as well? So there's a big difference between a long sleeve and cotton top in terms of warmth and a thermal. And close to class in the warehouse and all these kind of things do some really good thermals at a very reasonable price. But wearing a thermal will just makes you, even when it's wet, it keeps you warm. Whereas if you get cotton wet, you're going to get very, very cold with it on.
yeah, we did have one or two last year who struggled. And again, if they've got a waterproof of some kind, so not, I mean, I know a lot of puffer jackets are now waterproof, but to be honest, if you've just got a raincoat and a thermal underneath, it's actually better than that. So if you can send them with a raincoat, even the ones from the warehouse, if it's just showerproof enough, that is just gold, honestly. And the other thing that I just remembered to mention, we do get sand flies there. So if you know that your child gets bitten easily, insect repellent. So they can just, douse themselves in insect repellent and we don't have any problems. Because it's not nice when they're itching at night time and stuff, it's horrible for them. So if you know your child is, please send some insect repellent as well. Oh, some of the bottle. That's another question. Yeah.
Is there any limitations to the number of bags they can take because they're taking so much stuff?
I mean, most of it, I would say, would fit in a big holdall, I would think. But then, if they've got things like hoodies, I know they can be stuffed into the hoodie bag to be taken. And when it comes to sleeping bags and pillows, again, that's something that I would normally stuff in a bin bag and then tape it up. Okay, so that they don't have to fit it in their main bag. But just one bag and a bin bag with the sleeping bag and a pillow in it is easier because they do have to cart it. Like, we're not far, the bus doesn't park that far from where the cabins are, but they've got to lug it across to the cabins and things. And when they're in the cabins, their bags are stored under the bottom bunk. So if you've got like huge suitcases, like if you can avoid sending suitcases, please do. Soft bags, holdalls are way easier to deal with than you can imagine, trying to fit a suitcase, which we had last year, didn't we? Trying to fit a suitcase under one of the bunk beds. Anybody else? Yeah.
Sorry, I was just going to say, it seems like, you somehow monitor if someone takes something with you. So that there's somebody that, I don't know, is out on Google, for instance, that you can kind of pass them on, or without it being like a kind of thing.
That's a good point, actually. It's a good point. It is potentially something we could
Like that,
out there.
you might have a suitcase, but not a bag that can go away.
Yeah. I mean, hopefully people know someone within their circle of like friends and things. I mean, if there was anyone that didn't have something, just so you can beg or borrow it. Most things, you can actually get hold of. But there are some things that we have left over from last year that we will be taking with us. So if we find that there are kids who, come and they're cold and they don't have another set of clothes, we will have some to be able to cater for that. So no one will go cold, but even if we have to take our own, I always take extras. So yeah.
Just very quickly, updates on how the update will arrive, pages, and will be posted on Facebook or?
Yeah, we'll probably post on Facebook. They probably won't, I mean, to be honest, we probably won't contact you unless there's a problem. Like, you won't get contacted directly unless there's a problem. But we are able, I mean, there is cell phone reception there for us, and we can actually access computers and things, so we could put...
We can do a couple of posts, but it's not going to be every hour, because we're going to be having fun with it as well. But we'll try and link in with our marketing manager here at school, and I can keep it updated on it, sending a couple of
Maybe it's
pictures.
also at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
And when you arrive.
And a couple of pictures of what we've done. Things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any more questions?
Sorry, I have two questions. The first one is just about communication. Say things like eczema lotions or like anti-itch creams for bites. Would you consider that medication to be an extra feature or can they keep it?
Yeah, please. Our health and safety rules mean that we need all those kinds of things to be handed in to us, and then the child can just come to us, and we can keep tabs on, where it's going and who it's going on, and that kind of thing. Okay.
My second question was just in light of the most recent events up in Monterey with weather conditions. My assumption as a parent is that weather conditions will be considered before any activities for safety reasons.
Yeah, and so, I mean, I fully, as a parent myself as well, as a school teacher, I understand your concerns. We've already cancelled 2 camps this year. The year 13 camp has been cancelled twice because we felt that weather conditions just were not right. And we didn't want to send any of our learners on a camp where there was a risk like that. Camp Adair, actually, their health and safety is absolutely outstanding. They monitor everything. The weather is continually monitored, and it is monitored by us and them in the run-up to it. If there was any risk, if there were, high weather warnings that came out, we wouldn't hesitate to either postpone or cancel. And in terms of risks at the actual site, there is a creek which is actually way below the site, so it's not actually up at all near the cabins or any of the activities. And then the height's monitored. That creek is only about, I think it's about 2 feet deep. But the creek and the levels of the creek are continually monitored several times a day by the staff. So they would pull the plug too, and there are assembly points off the site. So
Yeah, and just as a process, so every single morning, the instructors will meet together to discuss risks that potentially might occur during the day. The weather forecast is looked at least twice a day, first thing in the morning and then reviewed again before the afternoon activities. And everything's discussed with us as well as with the activity leaders. So we will not be participating in any activities that we feel that there's any risk from the weather or anything else.
yeah, pretty much. I mean, I think that if we've got really strong weather warnings out a day from it, but you know how quickly things change, and it could say that the weather was okay on the Sunday morning, and then come the Sunday night or Monday morning, and if we had to put the plug, we would. Yes, when it comes to insect repellent, not aerosol, the pump action insect repellent. Sorry. Yeah, roll-on's really good actually, or the creams or the pump action, but they can keep that because then they've got it to apply. Yeah. Sorry, I couldn't hear you. So you do get free time, yeah? So there is usually not much in the morning, but you get a little bit of free time around morning tea time. You get a little bit in between the activities, but to be honest, in between, if you've got a couple of activities back to back, the turnaround is quite quick, so we can get you doing as much as possible, okay? But later on in the afternoon, in the evening, you get more free time then to have a play. And we take some sports equipment, and we take some games and cards and things with us as well, so yeah. Definitely. Yes, you can bring your own ball if you want to.
What are the season roads?
We're going to go through all that in a minute. So we're just kind of answering everybody's general questions, and then I've got another set of slides for all of the people who are coming with us and are volunteering. So if there's no more questions from everybody, then thank you very much. If you think, oh, I should have asked that when I get home, don't hesitate to flick me an email. I'm quite happy to answer any questions. Okay? Thank you very much.